The United States Consul General John Bray says his country's continued support for Nigeria's democratic process is rooted in its conviction that Nigeria is key to Africa's prosperity and stability. African Affairs analyst Jermaine Sanwoolu joins us now via Skype from London to talk on this. Now, Jermaine, according to Bray, it is the belief of the U.S. that it does not happen. If it does not happen in Nigeria, it does not happen anywhere on the African continent. What do you make of this statement?
Well, thanks a lot for having me this morning. I really believe that that statement is true. Nigeria is the giant of Africa as we know it, the largest economy on the African continent, and we have been moving in leaps and bounds over the past few years. Now, it's true that if someone waves, as it said, if it wavers in Nigeria, it also wavers around Africa, because we have that leadership ability, that ability to influence and to inspire change or transformation in the whole continent as a whole. Just take, for example, one that could relate with people more easily, the entertainment industry. Whatever you see happen in the entertainment industry in Nigeria is a trend that is being followed throughout the whole of Africa. We seem to lead in that area. So you can see that in a continent that has up to 1.2 billion people, with that population of 63% of the population being aged below 25, it shows that Nigeria is influencing the African culture, socially and also politically. We have that voice, that loud voice. Security-wise, the Nigerian armed forces are reputable to be able to dealing with external forces and problems when it comes to other nations through the AU and UN peacekeeping mission. So we are truly a power, and many companies, when it comes to business also, they experience so much growth in Nigeria. If a product can sell well in Nigeria, you can be sure that the whole of Africa will receive it very well too. So we are truly a leading force when it comes to influence and transformation in the African continent.
And I'll ask you, do you think the country really understands this? And you made a statement, you said it seems Nigeria seems to be leading when it comes to entertainment. Do you think we're really leading when it comes to politics, finance? I mean, look at Rwanda. The country just came out of a civil war, and we know the progress that country has made so far. Do you think Nigeria understands its role as a leader on the continent?
You make a very, very good point there. You may have a kind of influence over something or someone, but your ability to acknowledge it and maximize it is what you actually see, make sure that you actually make progress in life or in business. Now, Nigeria has that influence. We have that power. We have that potential to do great things in the African continent. But if we don't begin to maximize that kind of power that we have, we will see other nations, as you mentioned, such as Rwanda, which has experienced so much economic growth over the past few years, moving from a farming economy to a knowledge economy right now, whereby the whole world is investing in it, whereby they represent a lot of transformation agendas when it comes to what a true nation should be like. Nigeria has to refocus itself now and say that we have what it takes. Politically, we need to get our political act together. We need to build strong institutions that will be able to drive around the change that many Nigerians so desire to see. We must actually rise up and say, you know what, people are watching us, whether we realize it or not. We have so much influence. Everything we are doing is being watched, and also some people are actually mirroring what we are doing. So we must begin to say, okay, to him much is given, much is expected. There's a great expectation for Nigeria to actually do a lot of things, and we really need to start doing that right now.
With a population of almost 200 million, you talked about how products sell in Nigeria. I would also ask, would you say the U.S. is sincerely interested in Nigeria as a country, or simply protecting its interests?
Well, the United States of America always seeks to protect its own interest. Security is big business, so to say. In America, they produce a lot of ammunition and all that. And, when they start trading with nations, know that they also want to sell their goods and services. However, the U.S. also knows that Nigeria's stability is very crucial to the stability of Africa. Imagine if there's a war or there's a problem in Nigeria, where would the refugees go to? The whole of the sub-Saharan continent will be affected, where we all these 180 million people will be go to. Do we not see what's happening in the northeast, even in the southern areas? Cameroon is complaining with all the IDPs that are moving over to that side. So you can see how it can actually affect, if something bad happens in Nigeria, can affect the whole of the African continent. So US is strategically looking at security on one aspect. They want to ensure that Nigeria remains a strong security force within the continent, to ensure that there's stability within the continent, and also their own economic interest. Because Nigeria is actually very, very, apart from just the oil aspect and the oil that we produce, we have a lot of other the mining sectors which are developing right now, the IT sectors which are developing also. There's so much potential for growth in our country that we need to explore, and we can see the Chinese actually right now, which form the Nigeria's Africa as a whole, where our trading is the largest with the Chinese right now, no longer the US and the UK like before. So it's important when it comes to trade that Nigeria needs to take its responsibility. We know of the African continental free trade agreement that Nigeria opted out from, and also the economic partnership agreement, and Nigeria opted out from too. So we have to realize that, why did we opt out of these agreements that could benefit the African continent, but did we see it as not benefiting us as a whole? We must look at our influence and say, how do we maximize it and let it benefit the people as a whole on ground?
Very large country and definitely very long conversations around Nigeria, but we'll have to stop now. Thank you so much for your time, Jermaine Sanwoolu, African Affairs Analyst.